Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining as always is your host, Trent D'Alton, and that is official. We are through another round of footy. It's crazy to see that we're already at the start of May. We've had 8 rounds played, 9 if you include opening round. But that was the end of round 8, and I'm here to review all the action that happened, all the news, all the games, and give my thoughts and opinions on it. If you're watching this and you're not already, make sure you're subscribed and following the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. I already said that, sorry. Leave a like and comment, and turn the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. And remember to leave a 5-star rating on wherever you get listen to your podcast, whether that be Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But if it's your first time watching in on an Up the Guts review of the round, this is what I'll do. I'll go through every game, give my insight and views, and then I'll also rank it on a tier list, and we'll go over that tier list in a second. And then by the end of it, I'll also go over the Supercoach tournament the Up the Guts are having, that we are currently competing with. Pardon me, I'm just going to take my jumper off because actually I thought, sorry if you couldn't hear me quite properly, I thought it would have been quite fresh up here, up at my little unit or my little studio, as you like to say. I thought it'd be a bit more fresher than it actually is, but it's actually quite warm, so I've had to take the hoodie off. But if it's your first time listening, let's quickly go over what my rankings are on a tier list. So first of all, you got the excellent category, which is pretty self-explanatory. You had an excellent performance in round 8. Next one was very good, not quite the top of the range, but it was still nonetheless very good, very impressive. Next one was decent. You didn't wow, but you still got out there and did your job and did it reasonably effectively. Next one's disappointing. Just you didn't live up to the standard that you probably should have, or you just put out a disappointing display. Next one's 5am St Kilda Beach. That's the bottom of the table. No one wants to get into the colder months. No one wants to be doing 5am St Kilda Beach sessions. So yeah, that's what I have labelled this season as my bottom of the table on the tier list. But without further ado, let's start reviewing the round 8 action that has just transpired, starting off with Thursday night. Let's go. So Thursday night, we obviously, as I just fiddle with my portable charger here, Thursday night we obviously had Essendon and North Melbourne, and it was a bit more of a closer game than what people might have suspected. But Essendon do have a tendency of doing this where they come up against the good sides, they're really competitive, and then when they come up against the lesser teams, they make the job a lot harder than it really should be for themselves. But in the end, they did get the job done by 3 points over at Marvel under the roof, 9-11-65 to 9-8-62. Archie Perkins, I thought, was really impressive, kicking the 3. Nate Caddy also was good with 2. As for the Kangaroos, Zerha, Simpkin, and Larkey all kicked 2. Merritt, again, was dominant, 35 disposals, 5 clearances, 8 inside 50s, and 9 score involvements. Roberts, who is really starting to find his feet. I'm really liking the way Archie Roberts plays off that half-back line. 26 disposals, going to 81% efficiency and 8 intercepts. The Bull, as I like to have him known as, Sam Durham, 25, which is something you don't normally know, is going at 88% efficiency, which is really impressive, and 5 clearances. Well, Dersma has this thing about playing at Marvel, just loves playing there, has a really good record. I think the last 6 or 7 games he's played at Marvel now, he's averaged over 20 or more disposals, over 20 disposals. So he had 25 going with 6 tackles. Harry Sheasel, after all the stuff that happened with him, Kane Corns and North Melbourne, all the criticism, he came out and had 32, 5 tackles and 591 metres gained. Now, when he came out and had 5 tackles in the first half, I said, wow, he is on. But he only ended with the 5 tackles, but it was a good performance by Sheasel. Next one was we had Tom Powell had 28, 6 clearances and 9 tackles. Dylan Stevens also had 25, going 80% efficiency. And Tristan Cherry was enormous in the ruck up against Todd Goldstein. 25 disposals, 39 hitouts, 10 clearances and 7 score involvements. North again come so close but can't finish the job done. I think as a North fan, this would hurt, but I think it's coming. It's really building. One of these close losses has to fall their way eventually, so they can showed good signs about it. Obviously, the Paul Curtis one tackle last week, they got him a 3-week suspension, which not a lot of people agree with. If Paul Curtis plays there's no doubt they win by at least minimum 2 goals. So, but they didn't get the job done, but they need to start putting these close games and making them victories if they want to start being competitive and looked at upon as a decent team, or somewhat looked upon as, what's the word? Not as a joke, pretty much, when you come up against them. Because at the moment, they're pretty much a joke. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but they're a mediocre. At the moment, when you look at North Melbourne, you look at them as mediocre, and they can still get this close, but they can't quite finish the job off. So I think the fact that they've got a couple of close games in a row now is good, and that it's coming. They just need to get that final touch over now. Umpire debacle. Now, this was really interesting. They gave a free kick. Then I can't remember who the player was who kicked it away, but he kicked it away. They blew the whistle. Then they gave the free kick back to him even after he kicked it, so there was no advantage played. I think everyone was confused. And then the umpire got word from his mic, as I've done some work at the MCG when I had to mic up the umpires as well. So I know every umpire is mic'd up, and they are controlled up in the control room where they give out instructions like, hey, this is the end of the quarter. And throughout the quarter, they have a chairman of umpires who give them compliments going, really well done, in this one. So let's use former guest Nick Ford as an example. Well done on that one, footy. Great call. And I really liked how you start by your guns. Hey, guys, I noticed you're doing this. Let's try and communicate a little bit more with how we're going to interpret this decision. But this time the umpire went upstairs he got voice from upstairs in his ear. And then after giving the free kick, he said, you know what? Nah, I'm balling it up. How can you just sit there and go, after giving away the free kick, then go the ball up? It was bizarre. No one knew what was going on. The umpires this year have been really poor, and I hate to bash the umpires, but they have been really poor. We'll discuss another game where they were really poor later on. The Bombers were lucky after they only scored 2 goals at halftime. So North were really coming, but the Bombers just managing to hang on. That's something the Bombers will not be happy about as a team. Obviously, getting off to that start of the first half. It was actually a really, really poorly skilled game, in my opinion, and a lot of other opinions too. But yeah, the Bombers would be lucky if they're only scoring 2 goals after halftime. They'll need to fix that to be able to play 4 quarters of footy if they want to be a finals team, which I don't personally think is this year. A missed shot to debutant Finbar Marley. With less than 2 minutes allowed the Bombers to take the win. Now, we get it. It was his debut. Took a really nice, strong mark in the first quarter, went back and kicked his first goal, but then missed it. What a moment it would have been if the debutant put the Kangaroos in front and gave them the win. But it wasn't to be, and it was really hardful, but that's how the Bombers held on. If Maley kicked it, it's game over. Injuries were everywhere. So first, for the second, so in the second quarter, Jackson Archer, who limped from the field for the Kangaroos halfway through the second with a hamstring injury. Jordan Ridley, again, just can't keep his body right. Shortly after, in the second quarter, exited the game with also a hamstring injury. Just that soft tissue injuries are really getting Jordan Ridley. And it's such a shame because he's so crucial to how the Bombers play and how they set up behind the ball. He's such an influential player back there. Jake Gresham also finished the game early with a groin concern, leaving the Bombers with just 2 fit players on the bench after Harrison Jones was also stretchered off. Moments before the 3-quarter time silence, as he rolled his ankle as he attempted to spoil a ball. Now, if I just look up this, I know he came out and said, I just want to go Harrison Jones injury update, because I know he's had scans. It's nothing major as they thought it might have been. But if we have a look here, Essendon confirmed on Friday night that Jones had suffered a minor fracture in the base of his foot, but would not require surgery. So that's a good sign that he doesn't need surgery. But it's still, I think Harrison Jones is really starting to build, so it's still one they will miss. As for the rankings, we'll start off. Actually, no, we won't start off with it. We'll just say both of them were decent. Where's North Melbourne? They're both decent. It was a poorly skilled game. We move on to the Friday night and talk about a boring game where St Kilda just ran amok over Fremantle, who are running out of time, in my opinion. They're so underperforming majorly. But it was the Saints who got the job done by 61 points, 14-10-94, defeating 5-3-33. Cooper Sharman popped up for 4. Owens, who I think is having a really good, since coming back into the side, has been really good. Kicked 3 and a miss, was the only multiple goal kicker for the Dockers with 2. McRae dominated through the middle of the ground, 38, 25 contested, 14 clearances, 8 tackles and 10 score bombs. He was just everywhere, getting the ball through the middle and really driving it forward. I think he's been a really good pickup for the Saints. He's always going to get the ball, but sometimes his impact on games is questioned. This is one of the games where he's had a massive impact on why St Kilda have won in such a big way. Wangini Malira, 28 disposals, 10 marks, and 577 metres gained. Just usual casual work these days now for NWM, Wangini Malira. Wilkie was also good down back. The skipper, 24, or vice captain, co-captain. 24, going at 83% efficiency, 14 marks, 8 insets, and also had the 7 score rolls. For the Freo Dockers, Luke Ryan, after really, really struggling to start this year, finally found some form that we know more of. Luke Ryan had 24, going at 92% efficiency. 7 marks, 7 intercepts, and 602 metres gain. I mentioned what a horrible game. McRae dominates. Jack Steele, now, hats off to Jack Steele. There's been some questions about possibly dropping Jack Steele for not having enough impact on the game, not being able to run 2 ways for the Saints. But I think moving forward, this is the role Jack Steele needs to play, and I think he can do it really effectively. He played a role with Andrew Brayshaw and keeping him to just 18 disposals and 1 clearance, and was unable to establish any flow in the game. Caleb Sarong's a gun, but I think the real drive and run comes from Andrew Brayshaw. He runs and carries, uses the ball well, consistently hits the scoreboard, so shutting him down was good. But Caleb Sarong also had a mix of Hugo Garcia and Jack McRae watching him around at stoppages, and they kept him to 15 disposals at 8 clearances. So he battled hard, getting the 8 clearances with 15 disposals, if nothing like we are known from Caleb Sarong. And if you're not getting it from Brayshaw, you're not getting it from Sarong. At this point, who are you getting it from? Especially when Hayden Young was subbed off of a hamstring injury. Could possibly be one of the more talented ones of the lot, but subbing off with another hamstring injury after only recently coming back is really disappointing, because he was starting to find his feet and playing some good footy in his first few weeks back. Now, the big question of the game is around Justin Longmuir. How long does Justin Longmuir have? Now, he's going into, this is his 6th year going into the coach as Fremantle. He's on pretty much a work-like contract where it's 12 months at a time, 18 months at a time, but he signs it off 1 year, they renew it, and they keep renewing it. Now, their CEO came out and said there is 100% that Longmuir will be coaching the Fremantle Dockers in 2026 round 1. But I just want to question how many chances does Longmuir get? He's got the list all there. He's got Tracy up forward and a miss up forward. He's got Pearce, Cox, Ryan, you name it, down back. He's got Sarong, Brayshaw, Young, all through the middle. You got Johnson, who's developing. You got O'Driscoll, who's currently injured, developing. You got Luke Jackson and Sean Darcy in the ruck. There is no reason this team should not be competing for flags right now. And maybe at the end of the day, sometimes after 6 years, do we have to turn to the coach? Does the coach have to come into question? Because 6 years should be enough time to develop. They have played finals since while being under the coaching of Justin Longmuir. They have won 1 finals game. But other than that, they haven't really done anything, and they've been really disappointing. We've seen the term flagman will get thrown around a few times. But if they keep playing this slow, boring game where they just chip it around the back half and gather uncontested marks, they need to take the game on. They've got all the players they do. When Hayden Young's playing, they want the ball in Hayden Young's hand, and they can really attack going forward and get it into the hands of Josh Tracy. Josh Tracy is a superstar forward. Any team would love to have him as their number 1 forward in their forward line. But they're just... Imagine what Tracy could be if they were delivering the ball quicker and more effective to him. So Justin Longmuir, I think, has to come under question, especially at the end of this year. If it's another year where they finish like 11th, there needs to be questions asked about Longmuir. As for the rankings, there's no other spot, I think, but to put... Sorry, pardon me, guys. There's no other spot to put the Saints, but in my opinion, because I just moved the mic down a little bit. In my opinion, I think the Saints have to go in excellent. They just dominated with the likes of McRae up there and Sharman coming out and kicking 4. As for Fremantle, they can go 5 in St Kilda Beach. Don't bother going out Perth because you're going to St Kilda before you finish there. Then we move over to the first games on the Saturday. Western Bulldogs versus Port Adelaide. Talk about a disappointing performance. Down in Ballarat, the Bulldogs dominated and absolutely annihilated the Port Adelaide Football Club, winning by 90 points, 20-11, 131, defeating 5-11, 41. Multiple goal kickers on the park for the Dogs. You had Norton, Bontempelli, English, all with 3. Then you had Richards, Karmas, and West, all with 2. Multiple goal kicker for the Port Adelaide Football Club was just Willie Ollie with the 2. Disposals, we had Dale, 31, going 84% efficiency. Richards, who's been dominant, we'll talk about him soon, 30 disposals at 80% efficiency, 2 goals, 5 clearances, 11 inside 50s, 9 score involvements, and 729 metres gained. That is a huge game. Trelaw on his game back was solid, 27, 7 inside 50s, and 9 score involvements. English really stood up, who's someone who's been struggling in the ruck, I think, but he really made a big stance over Jordan Sweet. Jordan Sweet did hit the more hit-outs, but it's what English did around the ground. He had 27 disposals, 30 hit-outs, 3 goals, and 17 score involvements. 17 score involvements is massive. You don't see much get over 12 in games, so they have 17 as the ruckman, showing he can push forward against his ruck and kick and hit the scoreboard. I think could be a real weapon they can use, especially with Sam Darcy not there. The real weapon they continue to look to use. And Kennedy also had 26, 11 clearances and 8 tackles. He's just getting better and better the more he plays at the Bulldogs that have been picked up over the off-season. As for the Port Adelaide Football Club, Rosie had 29, 7 rebound 50s and 575 metres gained, while Butters had 24, 6 clearances and 9 tackles. They mentioned the Bulldogs run wild in Ballarat and Tim English were a huge game. Adam Trelaw was really good on return, but the Bulldogs look really good. Really impressed with the way they're looking, especially without Sam Darcy. I think they have the luxury now of playing Marcus Bontempelli more forward and just going in when they need him to, because the resurgence of Ed Richards, he's the number 1 ranked midfielder in the competition at the moment. Just let that sit for a bit. A year and a half ago, he was playing off the half-back line. They put him in the midfield due to injuries, and look, he's now the number 1 ranked midfield in the game. The way he uses the ball, hits the scoreboard, and runs and carries with his electric speed, gets the contested, gets the uncontested, does everything you need as a midfielder. I think it's been a masterstroke by Luke Beveridge last year when he injected him into the midfield, and it's just showing, and Ed Richards is paying him back in dividends and absolutely dominating. Possibly could be a smoky for an All-Australian jacket, I believe. But yeah, we'll watch that one closely. Rankings, Bulldogs have to go in excellent. And where are you? Port Adelaide have to go on 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach as well, joining the Freo Dockers are the 2 away teams. We move over to another smashing, Adelaide v Carlton, the Adelaide Oval. And it was the Crows who responded with a 60-point victory over the Blues. 16-14, 110, defeated 7-8, 50. The goal kickers, skipper Jordan Dawson kicked 3. Keys, Rankin, Rochelle, Fogarty and Neil Bullen all kicked 2. As for the Blues, you had Curnow, Durden and Cripps at the 2. Disposals, Rankin dominated, 29 disposals, 83% efficiency, 2 goals, 5 clearances, 2 goal assists and 12 score involvements. Michael Annie off the half-back line was enormous as well. 27 disposals, 12 marks, and 8 score involvements. Were also alongside him off the half-back line. Wayne Malira had 27 as well. Hewitt continues defiant the footy. He had 25, while Cripps had 24, 2 goals, and 5 clearances. Skipper Jordan Dawson, I mentioned, was influential with his 3 goals and 23 disposals, playing a bit more half-forward role and going in when they need it. I think that's something that they need to start playing around with a bit more, playing him a bit more half forward, not just playing him as a full-time mid, because you got the likes of Rankin now, and Rochelle is another one who looked really good when he went inside. So, and I think they can experiment with Michelani going in there. I've mentioned last week they had keys. They have keys they can throw in there. But so I think that Jordan Dawson is a magnet where you can just plot wherever you kind of need him. You don't need him as a bona fide midfielder at the moment. Rankin shows why his best position is in the midfield. I get it, his best position in the midfield, and he's more a centre forward player, but he needs to be up where the ball, he needs to be up at the ball where the contest is, because he just makes stuff happen. Worrell was exceptional down back, had 23 disposals, 7 marks, and 9 intercepts. At halftime, I was listening to the radio. I was on my drive back after calling my first solo game, actually, for Powertown v Alexandra. I was listening to Triple M, and they were in awe of how Josh Worrell was playing, especially in the first half. And at halftime, he was actually the leading disposal getter on the ground. So that's a big tick as the Adelaide Crows defence have come under scrutiny the last few weeks, saying they're not up to the standard, but they responded in a big way. Adelaide, but at the end of the day, it was the Crows who sliced the Blues in space. Carlton were minus 59 in uncontested possessions at the break. That's their worst first half differential in the competition since 2019. So you can just show how much Adelaide was so much on top and just cutting space and not letting them get their hands on the ball. Adelaide Crows also going excellent, and Carlton. I have to go 5 in St Kilda Beach, don't they? All right, Saturday night, before we get into this, I'm just going to grab another water. So just 1 second, guys. All right, I'm back. Now, before we get into this game, apologies, I just had to grab water. If you've been watching this for a while now, you would know I drink water like it's going out of fashion at points. And so I'm already onto my second bottle during this recording. But this was an amazing game, this one, a spectacle to watch. Collingwood v Geelong, and Geelong got the job done in the end by 3 points after mounting a comeback in the third quarter. 12-15-87, defeated by 13-12-90. My check was enormous for the Pies. I thought, especially late in the game, was taking some really big contested marks. He kicked 4 for the Cats. Manor Dempsey, who took an absolute screamer in the goal square. That was an extraordinary mark. He's got some extraordinary vertical leap on him. He can do it. He didn't need much of a run-up to get that high. He can just show the athletic background that he has. I believe he has a basketball background. But he just showed the athletic ability that he has. He didn't need much run and jump at it. And we've seen him do it, I reckon, 3 times already this season at least. So he's going to be a star in the future. Obviously, last year's Rising Star winner to really get excited about. Ollie Henry also kicked 2. As disposals-wise, leading the way, Josh Dacos, 32 for the Pies, going at 88% efficiency and 590 metres gain. Nick Dacos had 28, a goal, 6 clearances, and 8 score moments. Pendlebury, again, elite, 26 at 88% efficiency, 9 marks, and 5 clearances. And Sidebottom keeps going as well with 25, 6 clearances, and 11 score moments. Bailey Smith was everywhere for the Cats. 34 disposals, 1 goal, 5 clearances, and 715 metres gained. Dangerfield. 13 in the last quarter. He changed the game on its head, he's played all this season in the midfield. In the forward line. But they said, enough's enough. We're getting beaten around the ball. Let's tuck our contested ball in to there, who we know is going to ram through packs and put his heart on his sleeve and just attack the ball at 100 miles an hour. And that was Patrick Dangerfield. He finished with 29, 17 contested, a goal, 2 goal assists, and 8 scorer moments. And in the last quarter alone, he had 13 disposals, 1 goal, and 5 scorer moments to really drive his Cats home for the victory. Was a key factor in it. But the question of the day, let me just sip of water before I say this. Whoops. Were the Pies robbed? Were the Pies robbed? My beloved Collingwood. Were we robbed? Now, I can understand the Bobby Hill one because at the end of the day, his tackle did slip. Like, I get it. In the moment, I was like, what the hell? Reward the tackler. He's worked so hard. It was such a great chase down there to work all the way down there, but I understand why that one wasn't given. Jamie Elliott free kick. I don't know what that one was about. I don't think still anyone does. And the Lockie Schultz goal. The Lockie Schultz goal. Oh, no, sorry. The Lockie Schultz behind. Yep, that's right. Now, hear me out. I don't understand how the umpire could have given that a point to start with. Mark Blitzarf says he's touched it. All right, so he's given it a point. We go up to the arc. In the arc, we clearly see it's missed his hand. If anything, it's the only satisfaction I will give him that is that maybe it clipped his thumb on the way through. But it highly doubtly looked like it. And even through that, I thought it was pretty good enough evidence to overturn the decision, which would have put Collingwood in front late in the game. But no. No. The umpire said, the third umpire said, well, third umpire, it's cricket talk. What's I've gone blank. Anyways, upstairs people, I've just gone blank. Sorry, guys. Said there's insufficient evidence. I don't understand how that could have been insufficient evidence when it clearly missed his finger. And even Mark Blitzarves after the game said, I swear to God I touched it. But on the replay, I can see it definitely doesn't look like I've touched it. If that's not a man who's guilty, I don't know what is. I don't understand how that could have been enough. I thought it was enough to overturn it, but at the end of the day, it was a really good game. Collingwood probably shouldn't have blown that 20-point lead that they had, but the Cats were enormous, and I think the Cats definitely, both these teams could still win the flag at the end of the season. Both have the capability of doing it, and we both played a magnificent game. But let's not dwell over the fact that Jack Crisp breaks the game record for 245 consecutive games in a row. I don't want to dwell on the fact he missed a goal after the sign, but let's just talk about him breaking a record. 245 games in a row. He played 2 games at the Brisbane Lions before getting traded as a part of the Dane Beam still. Now he came over the Pies and hasn't missed a game since. That is absolutely extraordinary to think. 247 career games, 245 of them in a row for the Pies. So hats off to Jack Crisp. He goes down in history now, breaking the record for most consecutive games. And now, I won't dwell on the fact that he missed the goal. My heart was on my sleeve there. But what I want to talk about was what a group of, what relationship and what a group of people and as a team and family Craig McRae has built between the Pies. After he kicked the goal, you often see some people drop their head or at least fall to the ground in disappointment. No one did. They ran straight over to Jack Crisp and got around him. That is a sign of a great club and a great culture. So hats off to Craig McRae and hats off to the Collingwood boys for getting straight over to Jack Crisp. We know how much this game would have meant to him already. How much it would have meant to him already, and the fact that they didn't drop their heads and they got straight over to him, win, lose or draw, they knew they were going to go over there and celebrate with him. So hats off to them. I think the Cats were excellent. I think the Pies have to go very good. I think they're going to have to go very good. And then we move over to the other games. It was a doubleheader on the Saturday, and it was West Coast v Melbourne at Optus Stadium, and it was Melbourne who got the job done by 32 points. 11-10-76 defeated by 16-12, 108. Goal kickers for the Eagles, you had Waterman with 3, Waterman and Hewitt with 3, and Cripps with 2. As for the Demons, you had Turner, Disco Turner kicked 3, and Fritsch and Langdon kicked 2 each. Disposals leading the way for the Eagles with Marich with 26 and Baker with 24. Gawn had an absolute... Just when they thought he might have been a little bit down, the skipper, the Melbourne captain, Max Gawn, stands up. Let's have a listen to these numbers for a second, guys. Take this in. 35 disposals as a ruckman, 47 hitouts, 1 goal, 9 clearances, and 12 score bombers. The 47 hitouts alone is amazing, but 35 disposals, that is one of the best games you'll ever see from a ruckman, at least in the last 20 years. Not one springs to mind that comes to me. Maybe the game where he kicked 5 in the prelim or the final. I don't know if it was a prelim or a semi. That might come close, but I think this as an all-round package game was absolutely phenomenal. Demons dominated clearances, 48-26, obviously getting first use off of Max Gawn, who just annihilated Matt Flynn. West Coast did cop a blow at halftime with Jerry McGovern after he was substituted out of the game after he copped a hit to the head in the Martin contest. Jake Melsham, after that, was sent to the MRO, but he has been cleared, so that's good signs for Melbourne because he's such an important puzzle in that forward line, can just do multiple roles. Melbourne performance was very good, and the Eagles were decent. They weren't disappointing. All right, moving over to Sunday, the Derby. So we start off with, the Sydney Derby, the first of 3 games. Now, we were out, I was out at the pub for my brother's 21st birthday. No one was here yet, so I said to the parents, look, I'm going to the sports bar. Do not want to miss the start of this game because I knew there was going to be some feeling in there. And was there some feeling in there? It did not disappoint. And it was Sydney, though, who got the job over the Giants again, just showing them who the big brother is by 14 points, 12-15, 87, defeated 10-13, 73. Excuse me. Cut that part out. Goal kicks for the Swans. Jordan was the only multiple goal kicker with 2. As for the GWS Giants, Stringer popped up. He was due. He kicked 3. Cadman also kicked 2. Disposals-wise, Matt Roberts had 25, 7 rebound 50s, and 562 metres gained. Chad Warner, who was being closely watched by Toby Bedford, we'll touch on Toby Bedford's one why soon, but he had 24 disposals, 15 contested, 7 clearances, 10 inside 50s, 2 goal assists, 9 score moments, and 579 metres gained. McInerney had 24 to go along with 7 score moments and played a bit more time in the centre bounce, which was really good to see because he's got some really good breakaway speed. I'm a pretty good fan, big fan of McInerney. I like the way he goes about it. Tom Green, just doing what Tom Green does. It wasn't enough to get them over the line, though. 34 disposals, 19 contested, a goal, and 6 clearances. Callahan was the one, though. 33, 6 clearances, 8 tackles, 7 inside 50s, and 8 score enrollments. Ash continuing his form, 29, 93% efficiency, my apologies. And Whitfield had 28, going at 82% efficiency. Now, there was plenty of feeling in this game. Spot fires everywhere, as expected, and it was just good viewing to watch. The Swans came out firing, kicking the first 5 of the game, and I thought, geez, the Giants need to respond. And respond they did, because by the halftime, it was only about a goal or 2 in it. Obviously, this is when I was eating my lunch, but I looked over, I think it was 52-43, something like that. It was single-digit margin. But Lewis Malikan is going to be in trouble for his swinging forearm hit on Toby Bedford. This is why Toby Bedford, who was watching Chad Warner, was subbed out. Now, there's no confirmed on a concussion yet, but broken nose, black eye. It was an ugly scene to watch. It all happened so quickly, I don't think the players knew exactly what had happened, but I don't think they completely understood what had happened, but because no one really remonstrated with him really at all. But we're looking at Lewis Malikan. I think it set the standard with Connor Nash. He's looking at a minimum 3 and possibly 4, and if it's 4, that's sent straight to the MRO tribunal for them to give him his final answer. But yeah, he's looking for a decent stint on the sidelines there, Lewis Malikan. But one role I want to highlight is Dane Rampy did a remarkable job shutting down the impactful GWS skipper Toby Green, keeping him goalless. That's not an easy task to do, keeping Toby Green goalless and quiet. At the end of the day, that's what's got the Swans the win, because you always think Green's going to kick a couple, and they've only gone down by 14 points. So you keep Toby Green quiet, do well. And I thought they did a decent job on Hogan too, only keeping him to the 1. So Sydney Swans, I thought the Sydney Swans were very good, and I thought the Giants were decent. So there are my rankings for that one. The penultimate game of the round. Now, there wasn't much to talk about this game. A bit of a blowout. In the end, as expected, Hawthorn v Richmond at the MCG, 16-13, 109, defeating 6-8, 44, 65 points. Gunston kicked 3 and his 500 career goal. What a career he has had too. After a couple of years ago at Brisbane, dropping himself because he thought he wasn't up to the standard anymore. He's come back to Hawthorn, and this year really has been phenomenal start to this year. Just a real workhorse. There was times where at Hawthorn he went back to the half-back line. Just the ultimate swingman, can do it at all both ends of the ground, uses the ball beautifully, and he's a really reliable set shot. So it's been a really good career, obviously, after starting at Adelaide. So he's gone Adelaide, Hawthorn, Brisbane, then back to Hawthorn. But yeah, I think he's been a really good player for the Hawks, and he'll go down as a great for the club, in my opinion. Watson also kicked 3, Ginnivan kicked 2, D'Ambrosio and Scholl kicked 2 as well. Richmond were all multiple goal kickers, but James Trezise, a local boy in this area, actually kicked his first AFL goals after coming on as the sub, so that was really good to see. But James Trezise played half back last year, but he's moved up to the wing this year. He's actually been looking quite impressive off a wing, and it was good to see him get his first goal. He had a chance last week off a set shot, but it was just a little bit too far out. But this week, he grabbed the moment and capitalised with both hands and put it straight through. Disposals wise, Josh Battle continues gathering the ball, actually, because he had a big amount of disposals last week as well. But this week, he had 33, going at 94% of efficiency, 12 marks, 10 intercepts, 2 goal assists, and 7 scoring runs. I think he's been enormous ever since coming over from the St Kilda Football Club. Yeah, I just think he's been huge. Really what the Hawks needed. They needed a key back, and they got them in him and Barras. Now, GF has been lacking in form, in my opinion, but this was a real statement game saying I can still impact games off that half-back line. 32, whether it's off the half-back or the wing. He had 32 disposals. Not big. That would nearly have to be CJ's. I just want to double-check that. If I have a look here, GF highest disposal career. GF highest disposal game. Because I reckon 32 would have to... Yes. And just his return, that is his career high. So he had 32 disposals with 81% efficiency, 7 marks, 2 goal assists, and 7 scores. So well done to Jaff. Jaff getting back into the side and then proving why he needs to... he deserves a spot in Sam Mitchell's best 22. D'Ambrosio was also good, 30 disposals, 2 goals, 11 score runs, and just running and carrying with the ball with 796 metres gain. Eukin was solid, 27, going at 82% efficiency, 5 tackles, 5 clearances, 9 score runs. As for the Tigers, the 2 main stars, Hopper, 28, 5 clearances, and Taranto, 26, 8 tackles. As for the rankings, I thought they weren't excellent, but they were very good, the Hawks. There was nothing that went wow. Nothing that we haven't seen before, so I'll put them in the very good, and I'll put the Tigers in disappointing. Now, last game of the round was the Q Clash, and it was a bit disappointing in my opinion. It didn't quite live up to the hype, but it was the Brisbane Lions who got the job done there by, if I quickly do some maths here, 17 points. 9-12, 66, defeating 7-7, 49. Archie and Cameron both kicking 3 for Brisbane, whereas there were multiple goal kickers. All single goal kickers for the Suns. Will Ashcroft, who won the Marcus Ashcroft medal, which was presented to him by his father for his best on-ground performance, is really becoming known now as a big game player. Obviously, last year was the Northern Smith medalist in the grand final after their grand final win over Sydney. He had 34 and 9 clearances. Hugh McCluggage is having a really good year. 30 disposals, 8 clearances, 8 inside 50s, and 557 metres gain. Levi Ashcroft didn't want to fall too far behind his brother either. He had 29 disposals of his own. Dunkley had 26 and 6 tackles, while Neil had 25, 17 contested, 10 clearances, and 6 tackles. Miller had 29, 5 clearances, 5 tackles, and 7 score involvements. Anderson had 27, and Noble had 26, going at 85% efficiency. Matt Rao really struggled, only having 15 disposals, I believe it was, in the end, being closely watched. But that's 2 weeks in a row he is. I'm hoping and looking for, I reckon, Matt Rao to have a real big game in the next week or so to really respond. But it was Brisbane's 12th win against the Gold Coast in the 13 matches. So like Sydney and Jerry West Giants, Brisbane had the dominant hand over their little brother, over their little sibling. Will Ashcroft, we mentioned that. Gold Coast came out and kicked the first 3 goals of the game, but then were dominated by the Lions, where the Lions won inside 50s, 56-40. And when the Gold Coast Suns went in, they just didn't capitalise on their 40 entries they had. Mac Andrew was back, I think, to his form for the Suns, one of their better players on the night. Back to his form of last year with 19 disposals, 10 marks, 9 intercepts, and even kicked a goal after grabbing the ball off a turnover and running through and putting it straight through. Both teams did have hamstring injuries, though, in the opening quarter with Sam Day and Lockie Wallace. It's not ideal to have to use your sub in the first quarter, but in this case, at least it was both teams, not just one, because that would really impact the other one. But you don't like to see it at all. I thought the Lions were very good, and I thought the Gold Coast Suns were quite disappointing, in my opinion. Now let's have a look. Let's have a look at the ladder. It's the first time that we've done this on here, but let's quickly go over the ladder. So on top of the ladder with 28 points is the Brisbane Lions. Second place, we've got Collingwood on 24 points. Third place, also on 24, is Hawthorn. Only difference is Collingwood has 133.2 percentage and the Hawks have 125.6. Rounding out the top four is Gold Coast. Then it follows Adelaide in 5th, Bulldogs in 6th, Geelong in 7th, and Giants in 8th, rounds out the 8. There's a couple of other teams on from 9 to 12 also on 16 points, the same as the Giants, so they're coming hot. The 9th is Fremantle, 10th is St Kilda, 11th is Essendon. Port Adelaide at 12th, then we've got 3 on 12 points. It's 13th Carlton, 14th the Swans, 15th the Demons, 16th is Richmond, 17th is North Melbourne, and bottom of the ladder is West Coast, who are yet to win the game. Well, there you have it, guys. There are my thoughts of the round. Let's quickly go over how I ranked each club's performance. Starting off in the excellent column, I had the St Kilda Football Club, Western Bulldogs, Adelaide, and Geelong. In the very good column, I've got Collingwood, Melbourne, Sydney, Hawthorn, and Brisbane. Decent, I've got Essendon, North Melbourne, West Coast, and the Giants. Disappointing, I got Richmond and Gold Coast, and 5am St Kilda Beach. I've got Fremantle, Port Adelaide, and Carlton. Well, it's going to wrap up this review episode. As always, join us Wednesday night. It'll either be Wednesday night, Thursday morning, but I'm going to push for the Wednesday night about that 7:30, 8 o'clock drop to have our preview of round 9 coming up. This is where I'll go over my tips and predictions and talk about big matchups as well. But that's going to wrap it up here, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to share it out to a friend. Leave a like and comment on this video or a like on the Spotify episode. Make sure to turn your notification bells on all platforms so you know when we upload. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're listening to this via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure to hit the follow button. And most importantly, please leave a 5-star rating, as that is what helps get the show out there. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time, I'll see you guys then.